Antonov AN-225 Mriya. It wasn't designed to be big, it was designed to be impossible. Built to carry the Soviet Buran shuttle, the AN-225 first flew in 1988 and promptly rewrote the record book. 84 meters long, 88.4 meters of wingspan, 6 engines, and a maximum takeoff weight of 640 tons. The nose gear kneels and the entire nose flips open like a drawbridge into a cargo bay of roughly 1,300 cubic meters, so tanks, turbines, or wind turbine blades can roll straight in. The headline number is payload, up to 250 tons, not just heavy but dense, thanks to a reinforced floor rated for main battle tanks. Range flexed with the load, yet the party trick was outsized freight the world said couldn't fly. And then it did. Only one was ever completed, and in February 2022 it was destroyed during the battle for Hostomel, turning a global cult airplane into an engineering ghost. For scale, that 88.4-meter wingspan is wider than a football pitch and about 20 meters broader than a 747's. The 32-wheel landing gear spreads weight like a centipede, so it can use reinforced runways without chewing them up. Mriya means dream, and for 3 decades the dream was real, landing where nothing else could and proving there's a market for the impossible. Antonov AN-124 Ruslan. The AN-124 is the world's workhorse for cargo that doesn't fit in a normal economy, an aircraft built to move factories, not pallets. First flown in 1982, it scaled down the AN-225's ideas into a machine you can actually schedule. A nose that opens and kneels to make a straight drive-on ramp, a rear door for roll-through loading, and a reinforced floor with built-in tie-downs so tanks, turbines, and drilling rigs can ride without special cradles. Twin overhead cranes and winches inside the bay let the airplane load itself in places where there isn't a single forklift, which is often exactly where the job is. Operators like Antonov Airlines and Volga Dnieper turned that flexibility into a niche economy, ferrying satellites, power plant modules, locomotives, even disaster relief bridges, on timelines no ship could touch. The cargo hold runs roughly 36 meters long by 6.4 by 4.4, big enough for a complete fuselage of a regional jet, and later variants push payloads toward the 150-ton class. 24 wheels spread the weight across rough or lightly prepared pavements, and long-range tanks let it stitch together continents with a couple of tech stops. If the AN-225 was the impossible one-off, the AN-124 is the everyday miracle. The airplane that shows up, opens its nose, and makes the oversized suddenly look routine. Lockheed C-5 Galaxy. Built to move what armies can't leave behind, the C-5 takes the roll-on roll-off idea to its limit. The nose visor swings up, the nose gear kneels, and a rear door drops to form a drive-through tunnel, so convoys can load straight across the cargo deck without turning. First flown in 1968 and upgraded to the C-5M Super Galaxy, it pairs an enormous pressurized hold, about 37 meters long, roughly 5.8 meters wide, 4.1 meters high, with built-in winches and rollers that let it self-load everything from attack helicopters to mobile bridges and missile batteries. 28 wheels spread the weight across marginal pavements. The main gear can crab for tight taxi turns, and that kneeling system trims the ramp angle so tracked vehicles can drive on without drama. The headline figures are still startling. A payload in the approximately 120-ton class, intercontinental legs extended by aerial refueling, and a cruise profile that keeps heavy kit moving at jet tempo instead of ship tempo. The C-5M re-engine with modern high-bypass turbofans and new avionics cut fuel burn, boosted climb, and pushed practical range with real cargo. Strategically, it's the tip of the logistics spear. Fly-in runways, disaster zones, and forward bases where the mission isn't pallets. It's outsized hardware that changes what can happen on the ground tomorrow. Boeing 747-8F. The 747-8F is the freighter that turned bulk cargo into global overnight. It kept the classic jumbo's trick, an upward hinged nose door, and stretched everything else. A fuselage about 5.6 meters longer than the 400F, and a main deck built for drive straight in loading. Under the skin, it's a numbers play. Maximum takeoff weight, approximately 447,700 kilograms. Maximum revenue payload up to approximately 137,750 kilograms, and total cargo volume approximately 855 cubic meters split between a vast main deck and lower holds. Four GEnx-2 B67 engines bring modern fuel burn and noise cuts, turning dense industry freight, engines, tooling, pharma, perishables into city pair hops at Mach 0.845 with intercontinental legs around 4,100 to 4,300 nautical miles depending on load. What makes it unstoppable isn't just the payload, it's flexibility. The nose door swallows outsized pieces a side door can't angle in, while the standard pallet system lets operators flip to volume cargo without re-rigging. Compared to earlier jumbos, the 8F's wing, engines, and floor strength unlock about 16% more revenue volume with real-world fuel savings. Why it became the default for carriers that live or die by yield per hour. Park one beside a football pitch, and the 68.4-meter wingspan almost matches the touchline length. Inside, the boxy cross-section turns awkward freight into neat geometry. It's the freighter you call when tomorrow is non-negotiable. And if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Airbus Beluga XL. Airbus didn't just need a freighter, it needed a flying factory link. The Beluga XL takes an A330-200 and grows a cavern on its back, about 30% more volume than the original Beluga. So entire aircraft sections move in one hop. The trick is a colossal upward-hinged main deck door ahead of the wings that opens into a bulbous hold of roughly 2,200 cubic meters, wide and tall enough to carry two A350 wings at once. The earlier model could carry one. Inside, a purpose-built loading system slides jigs and fixtures straight into position, cutting ground time at plants from Broughton to Hamburg, Saint-Nazaire, and Toulouse. Payload sits in the approximately 51-ton class with real-world stage lengths of a few thousand kilometers, exactly the range needed to stitch Airbus's European network without fuel stops. Up front, the flight deck stays low in the original A330 position, so the cargo door can swing open above it without disturbing avionics or crew access. 6 Beluga XLs now shoulder most internal moves, freeing the older Beluga STs for overflow and special missions. On the ramp, it looks cartoonish. In operation, it's clinical. Roll up, open wide, load a wing the size of a townhouse, and close. It's less an airplane carrying parts and more a conveyor belt with wings, designed to keep final assembly lines fed to the minute. Boeing 747 Dreamlifter, LCF. Boeing's Dreamlifter is a one-job airplane. Move pieces of a 787 that are too big for normal logistics and do it on airline schedules. Start with a 747-400. Strip the upper fuselage, and graft on a vast, super-sized shell with a swing-open tail. The result is a flying tube that trades elegance for volume, about 1,800 cubic meters of it. The whole aft fuselage unlatches and pivots sideways, so a specialized loader can slide in 787 barrels, wing boxes, and center sections in their transport cradles. Because the cargo is bulky rather than dense, the design chases cubic meters more than pure payload, and the strengthened floor and restraint system keep those giant carbon fiber pieces from shifting a millimeter in turbulence. There are only 4 Dreamlifters, and they run a closed loop between Boeing and Tier 1 suppliers, Nagoya, Charleston, Wichita, Everett, turning what used to be weeks by ship into hours by air, and collapsing the 787's global supply chain into a just-in-time rhythm. From the front, it still looks like a jumbo. From the side, it's a warehouse with wings, cruising near Mach 0.82 like any long-haul freighter. The payoff is simple. Final assembly lines stay fed, travel time drops by an order of magnitude, and the world's most awkward airplane parts arrive exactly when the line needs them. Boeing C-17 Globemaster III. The C-17 is the airlifter that turns rough maps into reachable places. First flown in 1991 and in service from 1995, it was built to bridge strategic range with tactical access, fly intercontinental like a jetliner, then drop into short, semi-prepared strips that look more like a driveway than a runway. A wide, pressurized cargo hold runs roughly 26 meters long with tie-down grids, rollers for pallets, and the muscle to move payloads in the approximately 77-ton class, everything from an armored brigade's vehicles to disaster relief generators and field hospitals. The ramp is the magic trick. It airdrops loads at low level or swings down for straight drive-on drive-off, and the aircraft can even back itself uphill using reverse thrust. High-lift wings, powerful flaps, and full-time thrust reversers let it arrive steep, touch down short, and stop in distances that once belonged to turboprops, then turn around fast without ground gear. Range flexes with cargo, but aerial refueling makes the globe feel small. Crews can launch from the continental U.S., top off en route, and deliver outsized freight deep inland without a seaport in sight. In practice, that means fewer hops, fewer handoffs, and fewer chances for a mission to slip. If the AN-124 is the chartered heavy hauler, the C-17 is the go-anywhere truck, fast, disciplined, and built to make the hard landings routine. Antonov AN-225 Ante. Before jets owned the heavy lift game, the AN-22 proved brute force could come with propellers. First flown in 1965, it's still the largest turboprop aircraft ever built. 4 Kuznetsov engines driving contra-rotating propellers that sound like a thunderclap and bite enough air to lift outsized cargo off rough, long-forgotten runways. The design is pure utility. A tall, boxy fuselage with a rear ramp and straight-through hold so vehicles can drive aboard, lash down on the built-in tie grid, and roll straight out at the other end. Payload sits in the approximately 80-ton class with real-world loads like tanks, helicopters with blades folded, bridge sections and relief supplies stacked to the ceiling. And the wing's high-lift devices let the AN-22 get heavyweight airborne from marginal strips where jets would hesitate. Range flexes with cargo and altitude, but the trick was always access. Unpaved surfaces, cold soak, crosswinds. The AN-22 was built to take the punishment and keep schedules. Dimensions tell the story without showmanship. Around 58 meters long, roughly 64 meters of wingspan, and a cavernous cross-section that predates today's wide-bodied freighters by decades. In a world that later fell in love with jet heavies, Ante remained the quiet legend. Loud in sound, quiet in fame, the aircraft that proved a propeller giant could haul a jet-age workload. Thanks for watching. For more amazing megastructures, don't forget to like and subscribe.